And good evening. Welcome to our post-holiday edition of Coach's Corner here live from the Highlander Activity Center here on the Highlander Activity Network. I'm your host, Paul McDonald. Jaden Johnson, our cameraman and technical director. We got ambiance going on here, a team meal for the boys basketball team going on next to us. But we're going to get right into it. Head coach Aaron Larsen from the Highlanders wrestling team. Jonah, Coach, did you have a good holiday?
Oh, we did, yeah. It went by quick, and here we are back. It's January 2022.
Well, we started the holiday season really on the 18th with the holiday wrestling tournament here in town. Down a few wrestlers overall for various reasons, but overall, how'd you feel the tournament went?
The tournament went well. We had 16, 17 teams, and it was a great turnout, and it went well, and we were a little shorthanded for various reasons. A lot of kids were sick, but we still had a good performance.
9 guys for the Highlanders wrestled, still took 5th overall, 125 points. Bismarck High took 1st, and Colton and Coy Griebel taking championships in their weight classes. Tucker Johnson and Jonas Schuldeis took 3rd place. Evan Miller took 2nd. And those two, their 3rd places were by medical forfeits for both of them, unfortunately. They didn't get a chance to wrestle. But overall, you guys, your team really had wrestled well. To pick up 125 points with only 9 wrestlers, you have to be pleased with that.
I told the kids, we typically underperform at our own holiday tournament. So we didn't reach our goals or our expectations, and that's okay. It's still early in the season, and, getting 5th and 125 points is fine, but that wasn't what our goal was.
Yeah, and I talked with both Coy and Colton. They came up after their matches and chatted with them and about the tournament. And a full tournament, when you have your guys, you have a full team, it's a state tournament type lineup for all the teams that are here. I mean, it's almost a state tournament preview when you get everybody together.
Right, we had most of North Dakota Class A here, and so it's fun to see what the state has to offer. And it's always fun to see where you're at individually versus the competition.
You look at Colton, he pinned his way to the championship and I think won 16-3 in the finals in winning his weight class. Talking with him afterwards, and here's a freshman, and I asked him about goals that he has for this year. And he says, well, let's see. Coy was a runner-up his freshman year, so I want to be champion. Is that something that this kid's got, that mentality, that he's kind of changed? It seems like he's a little more focused this year than he has been in the past, at least in my book.
He's another year older, just more mature, and that happens a lot going from your 8th grade year to your freshman year. And he's bigger. He's a full 106-pounder now. Last year he was undersized at 106, and his goals are pretty lofty. He wants to be a state champion, and that goal, and if he doesn't win the state title, he's going to be disappointed.
Coy, again, does what Coy does. And I think we talked about this a little bit last year, Aaron, and I'll ask the question again. His leadership, it just seems as he's gotten older, he has really become a leader for this team.
Great leader. I've never coached a kid with the qualities that he has as far as hardworking, humble, great leader. He wants his team to be great, and he cares more about his teammates than he does his own individual accomplishments. So he's just a joy to be around.
After that, we had the Rumble on the Red, which is, I think, one of the largest high school sanctioned wrestling tournaments in the country up at the Fargo Dome. How did you feel that things went at the Rumble in the Red?
Went okay. It was an optional tournament for our kids, so we only took a handful of kids there. A lot of kids who had family vacations planned, and so once again at the Rumble, the Griebel brothers wrestled well. Coy advanced to the finals, and he lost 3-2 in the finals to a kid named Alan Kohler, who's ranked 8th in the United States. So I'm teasing Coy. I said, you're now 9th. So Kohler's one of the best 120-pounders in the nation. And Coy just shows where Coy's at. He's right there with the best kids in the country, and just missed on a couple positions where we had a chance to maybe get a takedown. And, just fell a little short. But sometimes we need setbacks to see areas we need to work on. So for Coy, it was a great tournament, great learning experience, and it'll help us get better in the future. And Colton wrestled hard and wrestled his way to a 5th-place finish. Colton would be the first freshman Valley City history to ever place at the Rumble on the Red. Just shows the level of competition that tournament offers. And Ethan Miller didn't place, but had a good tournament, won 3 matches, made it 1 round from placing, and he had a good tournament. And some of our kids on the JV side, some of the JV brackets had close to 80 kids, 80 wrestlers. I think kids like Tucker Johnson and Isaiah Schulteis had 7 or 8 matches, and both of them got on the award stand, and so it was a good experience for those kids as well.
And, I mean, facing that kind of competition is only going to make you better. Win, lose, or draw, it's only going to make you as an individual better facing that kind of competition.
Oh, exactly. If you just roll everybody over and pin them lickety-split, you don't really learn anything, and you don't get any better, even though it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't help you become a better wrestler.
Yeah, I think Colton in his 3 matches in the tournament, 119 minutes, or 1 minute 19 seconds with his 3 pins, and then one by Major. But now, before we get to post-holiday and what's coming up here for the Highlanders, one thing I want to mention with the tournament here, our holiday tournament, we had the girls' division this year for the first time that we've had it. 3 young ladies wrestled for the Highlanders. Really, we had 3 champions that day, and all 3, I think, were 6-0 with 6 pins. And you had talked to, I think, Megan and Jada and asked, hey, do you want to wrestle one another or not? It was their decision. And they said, no, we'll be co-champs. But what does that mean, just having these 3 young ladies and what they were able to go out and do?
Great young wrestlers. They're great role models for young girls that want to give wrestling a try. They're all 3 8th graders, and they wrestle hard. And all 3 of them wrestled at the Rumble on the Red as well in the varsity girls division. Talk a little bit about them. Miley placed 3rd. She won 4 matches, lost 1. Had a great tournament. Deegan got a win at 115 pounds, and then Jada Kunze placed 6th at 100 pounds, and she had a good tournament. So those girls are all set up to make the podium at the state tournament, and that's the ultimate goal, to be a state place winner for Valley City High School at the first ever sanctioned girls state tournament. So our girls are tough. You know, sometimes I tease our boys that said, these girls are tougher than a lot of the boys on our team.
And I think all 3 of them mentioned Emma Mielke as just someone that they looked up to and got a chance to meet her, and maybe even she's popped into the wrestling room here since graduating. And it's nice that they had somebody to look up to. Now the mantle can be kind of passed to them, that they can become those role models for the younger girls.
Right. We have a fair amount of girls in our youth program. So I think we had Express Wrestling sign up. So that's our K through 6 squad, and I think they have 70 wrestlers signed up. And I don't know how many girls there are. I don't even think Matt and Ryan know. They just told me that there's a fair amount of girls. So, and we have some tough 6th graders that are coming up into the varsity room and practicing now. And so we'll get those girls into the room next year. And, our girls are here to stay.
And we'll have Matt and Ryan on the Coach's Corner coming up here in weeks to come talking about Express Wrestling. So what's on the horizon now as we get the post-holiday tournament? What's coming? I know we had a match that was postponed with Red River, I believe, a try with Red River and Cheyenne that was postponed. So what's next now for Highlander Wrestling?
Yeah, we were really looking forward to a showdown with West Fargo Cheyenne, which would have been last night. Cheyenne is undefeated in the conference, and so are we. And there's a good chance the winner of that duel was inside track to win the conference. And we were a little disappointed that got canceled because of weather. But what do you do? It's North Dakota. So Bismarck Rotary this weekend. So be about half the size of the Rumble on the Red. So it's still a very tough tournament, but not quite as tough as the Rumble.
Final question for you, Aaron. When you look at this team, when we've talked in the past, you say you had a good tournament team, not a good dual team, or vice versa. What would you say this year? You've got a good tournament team or a good dual team?
When we're all healthy, we're a better tournament team. You know, we have 5 legit kids that could advance to the state finals. So we're a better tournament team when we're healthy, and we've yet to have all our guys wrestle in any tournaments yet. So everything's practice up until the state tournament anyway. So we're just hoping come EDC and state tournament time that we're healthy and have all our guys, and we'll be a force to be reckoned with.
All right. Well, Coach, I appreciate the time joining us, and we will talk to you again down the road, and thanks very much for coming in tonight.
You bet. Thanks, Paul.
You bet. Coach Aaron Larsen, head wrestling coach from the Valley City Highlanders. We'll be back with more of our Coach's Corner from the Hack here on the Highlander Activity Network. Welcome back to our Coach's Corner here on the Highlander Activity Network. And again, Happy New Year, Happy 2022 to all of you out there, as we are now going to talk basketball, girls basketball in particular. Coach Jimmy Howard joining us. Coach, happy holidays. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And it's been a while since you guys had a chance to play because of weather. Took care of one during the break and then one here last night on Tuesday night. But so it's been a lot of practice time. Is that a bad thing right now this time of year to have that much practice time coming out of a 2-week break like this?
Well, you like to play and keep that schedule, but, we've been able to give some breaks in those 2 weeks, and so it's kind of nice for the kids to have a little time off as well. And, with that weather, even though the game was canceled, we didn't have practice that day, so the girls still got that time off, but I think it's good to refocus too and come back in. So it's kind of like having a little break there with no games. The only downside is all the rescheduling makes it kind of difficult for some other games down the road. But we're excited about getting a chance to play tomorrow. It's been a while, and get out on the court and compete against somebody else ourselves.
And just for folks out there, again, the Shanley game on the 28th is now going to be a boys and girls doubleheader coming up on Saturday at Shanley. And you were supposed to play Friday, but so you guys don't get a back-to-back nights like that. They moved it to tomorrow night. And another girls-boys doubleheader with Wapaton here tomorrow night.
Yeah, and those are always exciting, too, because it's nice to be able to support the boys' team and get a chance to watch them and hopefully vice versa. And, when it's a home game, you get a lot of people here for a doubleheader, and hopefully the crowd and the environment is going to be really exciting, and hopefully both teams play extremely well and come out with a W. So,
well, play hot so we can melt some of the snow.
Yeah.
So we can get it outside, not just in the gym. What do you expect out of Wahpeton? What are the Huskies going to bring to the table tomorrow?
They're going to be a solid defensive team. They like to push the ball. They're going to be fast up and down the court, and they're really well coached. They've played a lot of close games here, and I expect it to be a close game. I expect it to be competitive, we're both kind of similar, so they should be pretty good games, and it should be a really good game for us and a chance to see where we're at after a long break.
And I know you had some dings and nicks and some injuries, but are you getting back to full strength now or getting close to it?
Yeah, Addie Quellvang tried it the other day just to come back and re-aggravated it a little bit, so we're still waiting on her, but Sam Hatcher's now got enough practices in that she's back, and so we're healthy. I know the South game we're missing some kids due to their health, and so we are back to our full strength, and so I'm really excited to see what we're capable of doing now. And
getting them in the gym and practicing, and Sam's been at practice, so it's not like she hasn't been there. She's been there and gotten those practices, but now you know how y'all work together.
Correct, and it helps. It's another sub. Mm-hmm. We're a little bit deeper now at guard than we were, 2 weeks ago, so that's really going to help us, and Sam brings a lot of experience, a 2-year starter for us, and she's still working her way back in, but that experience is going to be very valuable and helpful, and and hopefully she is a good three-point shooter, and we've been struggling from the three-point line, that she can bring that with her and kind of spark us and get us going.
Well, it's and getting it tomorrow night here at home, you get Wahpeton, and it seems like whenever you play the Huskies, they're always decent games. It's something about when you and Wahpeton get together, they're good ball games. What's going to be that key? I probably know the answer to this question. That one thing to get you that W.
Rebounding is going to be huge. They like to crash the boards, and like I said, I would say we're kind of the same. They got a couple bigs. We've got a few bigs. Their guards, can handle the ball. We've done really well with our turnovers here lately, keeping those down. And so, they crash the boards extremely hard. And, that's just kind of been not one of our strong suits this season. And so we got to continue to work at that and get better at that. But I think whoever controls the rebounding, and then turnovers are always big, but whoever controls the rebounding is really going to have control of that game tomorrow night.
And you've done well is game by game by game in decreasing the turnovers.
Correct. Yes. It started out not great with Jamestown at the beginning of the year, and then getting Davies a few games later. But we did do a really good job the second half with them, and we have been doing a really good job of keeping our turnovers down. We've had games where we've had less than 10.5, which that's great. Goals to try to keep it under 20 a game, and the live ball turnovers are the ones that hurt, and that seems to be what we generally have more of than the dead ball ones. So just taking care of the ball is going to be key, but rebounding is going to be huge tomorrow. So.
And sometimes it's not about the height and rebounding; it's about the hustle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about being scrappy. It's about getting yourself in position. It's about being physical, and sometimes it just comes down to how much do you want to rebound? How much effort and energy do you want to put into it? Because you can be in great position and someone just be taller and jump and take it, or or fight around you or slap it away. And sometimes it just comes down to how much you want to go get those rebounds. And so we're trying to put a big emphasis on it in practice, and it's not going to change overnight. So hopefully we show up tomorrow with that kind of energy that we need on the boards, and we'll see where we go from there.
All right. Well, Coach, I appreciate it. 5:45.
Yes.
For the girls, it'll be a JV boys game at 4:15, and then the varsity girls at 5:45. Varsity boys to follow at 7:30. Again, let's pack the hack. We got a back home, and we got a girl boy double. Those are always fun when you get both varsity teams playing on the same night in the same gym. So let's get them back here and going again.
Yeah, I love it.
Thanks, Jimmy. Have a great one, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Sounds good. Go Highlanders.
That is Jimmy Howard, head coach of the Valley City Highlander girls basketball team. We'll be back with Coach Alex Quist from the boys basketball team coming up. This is Coach's Corner from the Hack on the Highlander Activity Network. And welcome back here to our final segment of our Coach's Corner, first edition of 2022 here on the 5th of January. And now we're talking boys basketball. Coach Alex Quist from the Highlander boys joining us. Coach, Happy New Year and welcome back.
Happy New Year. Good to be back.
Now it's a new year. We turn the calendar, so now a fresh start, right? Is that what you're thinking as we get going here? We got a fresh start for the next 3 months.
No, not really. I mean, unfortunately, I wish our record could refresh, but no, that's how it is after every game, right? You want to learn from your mistakes, but at the same time, you don't want to dwell in them. So, I mean, at the end of the day, at the end of the season, everybody gets a fresh start, right, before the tournament starts. So, we're not going to forget what has gone on so far in the year, but at the same time, we're going to move on. So, you start off the game 0-0 against the team you play. If you have that mindset, you should be fine.
I'll ask you the same question I asked Jimmy. Because of the weather, you've lost 2 games got postponed during the holidays, one on the 28th and one here last night. And we'll talk about all the rescheduling and the changes in the schedule. But so now, what about that? You're coming off the last game was Fargo South. Great ball game. Yes, South came up and had the nice run at the end of the game and picked up the W. But a good high school basketball game in my mind. It just had a little bit of everything. Is it tough to have to wait now almost 3 weeks before you get back on the court for a game after something like that? You could have turned around, come right back the next week, but you got stopped.
Well, I don't even know if it really matters what game was the last one. I'm really antsy, and honestly, it's driving me crazy not being able to play a game. So I can only imagine what the boys are feeling, right? Because they're the ones playing. But I mean, it's tough. You do want to respond, especially after games like that. When I think we let that one slip away. We had the lead most of the game until I think we were winning the entire second half until the last 20 seconds of the game. But I don't think it matters too much what the last game is. The kids are ready to play. That's why they're in basketball, because they want to play games. Trust me, they do not want to come to practice all the time. If it was only practice, we probably wouldn't field a team, right? Kids wouldn't come out. They play basketball because they want to play in games. Mm-hmm. And, well, I'm the same way. I don't want to run practice 4 weeks in a row without playing a game, right? That's where we can put things to the test, and that's where ultimately we're usually going to have more fun.
Have you had a chance, so you've watched film now and here for these last couple of weeks, and you've had practices, have you kind of got an idea what needs to be shown up and what needs to be getting better at as you head in now into the second half of the season?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of times you come into the season and you have an idea of what you need to get better at, what are your weaknesses, strengths, but yeah, we're 6 games in, and it's pretty obvious now where our strengths and weaknesses are, what we need to get better at, what things have been working and what hasn't been. So this has been, as much as I do hate that it's been so long since we've played a game, I think it's been really beneficial for our team to have this much time to reflect and look back at the things that we've done well, but more importantly, the things that we need to get better at.
And to the 2 losses, both the Devils Lake game and the South game, 5-point games. So something here or there, those are 2 W's. And you look at some of the other games, you had North in the first half. So are there a lot of good things these first 6 games, Alex, that you can say, hey, there's a lot of good things we can take out of these. Yes, there's not the W's, but there are some good things we can get.
Yeah, absolutely. And we don't want to focus on the result so much as we want to focus on the process. So a lot of times we can do something really poorly and it's still going to turn out well for us, right? Maybe we just miscommunicate and give up a wide open 3. Well, it's not always going to go in. But it's the opposite way around. We might do things really well and they still might score, right? So, our focus just needs to be to continue to get better, right?
Wahpeton is up next here tomorrow night, and like I mentioned with Jimmy, it's the girls-boys doubleheader. The junior varsity for the boys at 4:15. The girls will be at 5:45. Then the varsity boys at 7:30. What do the Huskies bring to the table here tomorrow night?
Well, they're going to be probably the smallest team that we've faced so far, and so they're going to run really hard, right? They're going to run really hard, and they're going to be really far into the gaps, or they're going to help a lot. And then on top of that, they move more than any team we've faced so far on offense. So, I sort of had to challenge our guys a little bit at the beginning of practice. And if you're not in your spot off the ball, on defense, you might get exposed tomorrow because they're constantly cutting, constantly setting screens, slipping, and constantly passing and just moving, right? So it's going to be really important for us to make sure that we see both man and ball and we communicate. If we have chances to switch, we can switch. But, they're going to be a quicker team, and they're just going to lots and lots of ball movement.
Is that is a key, moving without the basketball? You hear that a lot. Being able to, in spacing, moving without the basketball. Is that what they have? Is that what you're talking about? That what makes them so tough is so difficult is they move well without the ball?
Yeah, absolutely. And when they go and set a down screen, they're going to make sure that they hit somebody on the screen, right? And I think they're a really well coached team to where, if they go and set a down screen and they know that you're going to switch it, they're going to slip. And that's a little bit tougher for us to guard if we do switch. That they definitely do that. They move with a purpose. That's even more important than just moving, right? They move with purpose. They know where they're supposed to be. They know that, okay, if my guy's a half a step too high, I'm going to back cut. Right? Next guy's going to come up and fill, then a down screen, curl. They're just all over the place. They're a well-taught team, so they know what they're doing when they don't have the basketball.
And this is where communication defensively is crucial, isn't it? Helping out and so forth. That's really going to be crucial for you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's not always a right way to guard things. And so there's maybe some ones that are going to be better than others. But the bottom line is, if the boys communicate, then as long as there's no miscommunication, we should be able to guard it, right? It's the times when two people run to the same guy because one person thinks you're switching and the other person doesn't. That's what really kills you. So, we're going to make mistakes, but you can communicate, and that can help you avoid a lot of mistakes, especially off the ball when it comes to switching and making sure you're getting to the right spot.
And again, the schedule changed around because of the snow out on the 28th, so you go to Shanley on Saturday. That's not the most important game. The most important game is tomorrow night with Wahpeton. Worry about Shanley after Wahpeton. Final question for you, Alex, as you get ready for the Huskies now and the second part of the schedule. How's the mindset of these kids that because they've been so close on the number of occasions, is this still a good, confident group that they know things will eventually hit where it's supposed to and things will turn their way?
I think so. And that's that really speaks highly of the boys that we have and their resiliency. I don't think there's ever been a day where they've come to practice thinking that we're not going to come out and compete the next day in a game, And so, it's not easy doing that, showing up and working hard every day. But, it was really clear from game 1 to game 2 and then again to game 3, we got a lot better, right? Well, then we had a tough game against Fargo Davies, right? I think we took a step back there. But again, we started climbing back in it. And so ultimately South, that was a game that we probably should have won. We let that one slip away. And so that when we, especially watching film, stuff like that, it's really easy to show them that, okay, Fargo South, we lost by 5, but it was a one-possession game, right? They scored a layup at the buzzer.
Right.
We had the ball down by 3 with 2 seconds left. It's a one-possession game. Well, guess what? Every single mistake that led to a bucket for them or us not getting a bucket, whether it was the first play of the game or the last play of the game, that had an impact on the final score. And so just knowing that alone, that should automatically give you some confidence knowing, hey, you know what? In the first half, I didn't sprint back on defense. We gave up a layup that we could have won the game if I would have sprinted back. Sometimes it's that close, and we're going to expect ourselves to be in those close games, right? And so just knowing that there's a real possibility that it's going to be really tight, going to come down to one possession at the end. We know that every possession's crucial for us, and so I think that ultimately gives us confidence going forward.
Correctable errors.
Yes.
Every error is correctable at some point if you think about it, but correctable errors. Well, I look forward to it. It's always going to be fun, as I mentioned with Jimmy, having the girls and boys. Junior varsity plays at 4:15. And one other, just the 7th and 8th graders will be hitting the floor, too, for the boys against Lisbon on Friday. Matter of fact, a couple of games that you'll be able to see here on the Highliner Activity Network from the North Gym at 4:30 and 5:30. Is it going to be good getting those boys on the court, too, and finally getting some games, getting those younger kids out there, too? That's going to be fun for you as a coach. I know you got practice, but you kind of want to know what's going on with those younger kids, don't you?
Yeah, I would like to watch, but unfortunately our C squad's playing at the same time as that game too. But yeah, you talk about long stretches of practices without a game like we're having right now. Well, junior high started practice before Christmas. They got 2 weeks worth of practice in, and they haven't played a game yet, right? So I'm sure that they're ready to hit the floor and get some games. And like I said, that's why the kids want to play, right? They want to play in games. So it's always good to get those those first ones out of the way. And just like us, see what you need to get better at. But we just want to play. That's what kids want to do. They want to play.
You can watch the game afterwards anyway. After your practice games will be archived on the Highliner Activity Network. You can go home and watch them and at least get to see how it went. Again, Alex, appreciate it. Looking forward to tomorrow night. And again, pack the hack. Let's get some fans in here. Wahpeton always brings a good contingent, and let's have some good high school basketball. Pick up some wins here tomorrow night.
Absolutely, that's the plan.
All right, Coach, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
You bet. Coach Alex Quist from the Highliner boys basketball team will be back and wrap things up here on Coach's Corner from the Hack on the Highliner Activity Network. Back here at the Highliner Activity Center, Paul McDonald with you, Jaden Johnson, our cameraman and the technical director tonight, wrapping up our first Coach's Corner in 2022. And here's what's coming up now on the Coach's Corner, things to look for on our Highliner Activity Network. Tomorrow we'll have a triple header, 4:15 boys junior varsity against Wahpeton, and then at 5:45 the girls varsity against Wahpeton, and at 7:30 the boys varsity against Wahpeton. Then on on Friday, we will have a doubleheader, 7th and 8th graders from the North Gym, and that'll be 4:30 for the 7th graders, 8th graders at 5:30, and those games from the North Gym, and that'll be against Lisbon coming up here on Friday. And that'll be our next coverage of the Highliners. And, of course, also in future shows coming up here on Coach's Corner, we're going to be talking Viper hockey. They're in the full swing, and they'll be getting going a lot more games coming up here in January. Express Wrestling as well. We'll be talking about that, as well as our varsity sports and speech. Speech has their first meet coming up here January 15th. Will be our first speech meet, and we will have some of the speech competitors, and of course Coach Abby Inkstead joining us, which would be the 12th of January on that Coach's Corner, and we'll talk about the speech team as they get ready for their season on the 15th. Well, that's going to wrap things up for our first edition of Coach's Corner here on the Highliner Activity Network for the new year. Again, we'll be back next Wednesday and every Wednesday beginning at 6 o'clock right here in the lobby at the Hack. It is Coach's Corner from the Highliner Activity Network.